The power you seek has never been outside you. It has never belonged to the world, to circumstances, to the shifting opinions of others, or to the conditions you call facts. The truth, the ancient truth whispered through centuries, is that the power that moves worlds lives in your mind. Your consciousness is not a passive observer of life. It is the creator, the cause, the invisible force shaping everything you experience. And the moment you understand this, not just intellectually but deeply, internally, courageously, your reality begins to rearrange itself in ways that seem miraculous. When you look at your life and see limitation, you are not seeing the world. You are seeing the reflection of your own assumptions. When you feel stuck, it is not because the path is blocked. It is because your awareness is entangled in the belief that you are powerless. But consciousness is not here to obey old stories. It is here to create new ones. The moment you claim a new inner identity, the outer world adjusts itself to match that claim. This is the invisible technology of creation. This is the divine power in your mind. There is a silent law working through your awareness. Whatever you accept as true becomes the stage upon which your life unfolds. You do not manifest what you desire. You manifest what you are conscious of being. If you dwell in fear, fear shapes your experience. If you dwell in lack, your world mirrors scarcity. But if you dwell in certainty, in faith, in the quiet knowing that you are the vessel of infinite power, then your world cannot help but reflect abundance, clarity, opportunity, and change. Nothing resists consciousness. Everything bends to it. The mind is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Every image you hold with conviction is a blueprint. Every assumption you persist in is a seed. Every feeling you return to becomes flesh. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you desire, you are not escaping reality. You are programming it. You are speaking directly to the deepest level of existence, the level where matter takes its orders. The world is not built from action first, it is built from consciousness first. Action only follows the command. There is a moment, a sacred moment, when you choose to stop arguing for your limitations, when you stop repeating the old story, when you stop worshipping the evidence of the senses, when you understand that the outer world is only the echo, not the source. The source is your inner state, your awareness, your imagination, your self-concept. And the moment you shift your inner state, the echo must change. It has no choice. It has no power of its own. The greatest transformation you will ever experience is when you stop looking outward for proof and begin creating inward with certainty. When you treat your inner vision as more real than the visible world begins to obey that vision. This is the sacred power of consciousness. You are not thinking thoughts for entertainment. You are authoring your future. Every assumption is a decree. Every mental picture is a command. Every emotion is an energy signature you broadcast into the fabric of reality. Imagine now what happens when you begin to deliberately control this power. When you choose the thoughts you allow. When you select the identity you claim. When you consciously feel the state of the person you long to become. You will find that the power you once begged for was always yours. You will find that reality is not random, but responsive. You will find that you are not a victim of life, but the architect of it. And the more you embrace this, the more the world will transform in front of your eyes. There is no force working against you. The universe is not testing you. Life is not withholding anything. Everything flows according to your inner acceptance. If you accept yourself as unwanted, you will live that story. But the moment you accept yourself as chosen, as powerful, as favored, as guided, everything shifts in your favor. Opportunities appear where there were none. People respond differently. Circumstances open. The impossible dissolves. Your inner world scripts the outer one. Consciousness is not bound by logic, history, or probability. It does not care about the odds. It cares only about the state you inhabit. If you persist in the state of abundance, abundance finds you. If you persist in the state of love, love surrounds you. If you persist in the state of success, success becomes inevitable. The mind does not ask how, it only accepts what. And when the what is accepted deeply enough, the how appears effortlessly. So take a moment and breathe. Feel the power that lives behind your thoughts, behind your emotions, behind your identity. Feel the infinite presence that is always listening, always responding, always creating through you. You are not separate from this power. You are the channel through which it expresses. Your consciousness is the brush and reality is the canvas. What you paint inside must appear outside. It is law. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to believe in your power. Do not wait for circumstances to validate your vision. The world will only echo what you have already assumed internally. Stand in the awareness that you are the source. Stand in the knowing that your mind is divine equipment. Stand in the quiet conviction that your consciousness shapes your reality moment by moment. And as you hold this truth, your world begins to rearrange itself with a precision that feels supernatural. You are not here to wish for change. You are here to generate it, not by force, not by struggle, but by mastery of your inner state. The moment you claim the identity of the person you desire to be, the universe moves. Doors open, paths clear, life shifts. Because consciousness commands reality, and you command consciousness. That is the power placed in your mind. That is the force shaping your destiny. There is a quiet revolution that begins the moment you stop reacting to appearances and start responding from your inner authority. When you rise each morning, not to look at what life is showing you, but to deliberately choose the state from which you will experience the day, everything changes. You no longer live by accident, you live by intention. You no longer move through life as a wandering observer. You move as the conscious director of your reality. And the more you practice this, the more you recognize that consciousness is not something you possess. It is something you are. Every moment presents you with a choice: remain loyal to the old patterns that shaped your past, or step into the new identity that shapes your future. Most people recycle their lives because they recycle the same assumptions. They wake up and automatically return to the familiar feeling of lack, worry, or doubt. And because the inner state repeats, the outer world repeats. Not because fate decreed it, but because consciousness accepted it. Life becomes a loop when awareness does not change. But you are not here to live the same story again and again. You are here to evolve your consciousness, to expand your perception, to choose higher states deliberately. When you shift your inner feeling, you shift your reality. When you decide that you are worthy, life begins reflecting worthiness. When you decide that you are chosen, life opens in ways that confirm it. When you decide that you are powerful, life rearranges itself to show you where that power has always been. This is why imagination is sacred. It is not childish fantasy. It is the workshop of creation. The images you hold are not idle pictures. They are living seeds of experience. Your imagination is the place where reality begins its formation long before you touch it with your hands. Every great transformation you have ever gone through started with an inner picture, a thought, a desire, a conviction, a feeling. And because you allowed it space within your consciousness, it grew into form. Imagination is not pretending. It is previewing the reality you are choosing. Think for a moment of the difference between two people standing in identical circumstances. One sees limitation, the other sees opportunity. One sees obstacles, the other sees pathways. One feels powerless, the other feels supported. Their outer conditions are the same, yet their lives unfold completely differently. Why? Not because of luck, fate, or chance, but because of consciousness. The inner state determines the outer story, and the inner state is chosen, not forced. This is the beauty of your mind. It does not judge what you choose to believe. It simply accepts. Whether you choose thoughts of abundance or thoughts of limitation, it responds. Whether you choose to dwell on what you fear or what you desire, it responds. Whether you assume success or assume failure, it responds. Consciousness is infinitely obedient. It mirrors whatever you persist in feeling. And this is why mastering your inner dialogue is one of the greatest forms of spiritual discipline. You cannot talk defeat and expect victory. You cannot dwell in resentment and expect harmony. You cannot identify as a victim and expect empowerment. Life does not contradict your consciousness. It reveals it. And the moment you understand this, you begin listening to your inner world differently. You stop letting your mind run wild with assumptions that sabotage your growth. You stop repeating stories that shrink your potential. You stop treating negative thoughts as facts and start treating them as choices. The greatest shift happens when you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. Thoughts pass, but consciousness remains. Thoughts shift, but awareness commands. And when you stand in awareness rather than reaction, you reclaim authority over your life. You begin selecting thoughts deliberately, choosing feelings consciously, creating inner pictures intentionally. You begin rising above emotional habits that kept you small. You begin stepping into the self you were always meant to express. Every time you imagine something new, you are breaking the boundaries of the old self. Every time you assume a higher identity, you are dissolving the limitations of the past. Every time you feel the reality of your desire before it appears, you are rewriting the script of your life. You may not see the changes immediately, but consciousness always works beneath the surface before it rises into the visible world. Everything you are assuming today is forming your experience tomorrow. Persistence is the secret that turns inner vision into outer reality. Not effort, not struggle, not obsession, but persistence. When you persist in the inner state long enough, the world must conform. It cannot resist. It has no power to resist. Reality bends to the dominant feeling you hold. This is why you must return again and again to the inner conviction of your desired identity. Not because you are forcing anything, but because you are aligning with the truth you want life to echo. When you claim abundance, claim it until it becomes natural. When you claim love, claim it until your heart feels full. When you claim success, claim it until your actions reflect certainty. The more natural a state becomes within you, the faster life mirrors it. Nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. Consciousness follows the same principle. You do not need frantic energy or obsessive force. You need calm, steady, relaxed conviction. There is a sacred confidence that emerges when you realize that you do not need to chase your desires. You need only embody the version of yourself who already has them. The world responds not to your longing, but to your being. If you long for something, you declare its absence. If you feel yourself already possessing it, you declare its presence. And consciousness always manifests presence. This is why gratitude is so powerful, not because it is polite or positive, but because it aligns your inner state with fulfillment. When you give thanks in advance, you are stepping into the identity of someone who already has what they desire, and reality responds accordingly. It has no choice but to mirror the state you are dwelling in. You are not meant to live in conflict with your desires. They are not outside you trying to reach in, they are inside you trying to come out. Every desire is an invitation to remember who you truly are. A creator, a chooser, a channel through which infinite intelligence expresses itself. The desire is the sign of your potential. The fulfillment is simply the echo of your assumption. Life becomes simple when you stop resisting this truth. When you stop imagining the worst outcomes. When you stop doubting your worth. When you stop expecting disappointment. When you stop rehearsing old wounds. When you stop letting the past dictate your future. Instead, you begin imagining the best. You begin expecting good things. You begin assuming support. You begin choosing love. You begin stepping into a state of faith that carries you forward. Faith is not blind belief. It is inner knowing. It is the awareness that consciousness precedes form. It is the calm certainty that your inner world shapes your outer world, and therefore nothing is out of reach. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is too big for the mind that holds the power of creation within it. As you move through each day, notice how many times you unconsciously return to old states. States of worry, states of lack, states of doubt. Not because these states are true, but because they are familiar. Familiarity masquerades as truth. But the truth is whatever you choose to assume now. You are not bound by your past state unless you continue assuming it. You can choose a new identity at any moment. You can choose a new narrative. You can choose a new feeling. And the moment you do, your reality begins shifting along with it. Your mind is not here to torment you with negative possibilities. It is here to create new realities through conscious focus. When you direct your awareness toward what you want rather than what you fear, your entire life moves in that direction. The universe is not drawn to anxiety, it is drawn to clarity. Your consciousness becomes magnetic when your inner state is aligned with your desire. Nothing in your external world is more powerful than one shift in your internal state. One new assumption, one new feeling, one new decision to believe in your worth. That is all it takes to begin rewriting your entire reality. The power is in your mind, and the mind is in your control. When you claim this power, the world becomes fluid, flexible, responsive, because it always was. You only needed to awaken to it. There is a moment in every person's life when the world they see outside can no longer satisfy the truth rising within. It is the moment when you realize that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Everything begins inside, in the realm that no one else can see, in the quiet chambers of your consciousness. And when you finally accept that your inner state is the architect of your outer world, you stop fighting with circumstances and start shaping them. You stop wrestling with conditions and start commanding them. The power you once searched for in the world reveals itself as the power of awareness within you. Your mind is not a passive observer of life's events. It is the projector, casting images of your assumptions onto the screen of reality. Whatever you hold as true, whatever you persist in feeling, whatever identity you occupy, that becomes the pattern your world must follow. The universe does not question your assumptions, it responds to them. It does not resist your feelings, it mirrors them. It does not argue with your identity, it expresses it. This is why you must become deeply selective with your inner world. Not fearful, not rigid, but selective. Just as you would not consume food that poisons your body, you must refuse thoughts that poison your destiny. You must refuse the stories that shrink you, the memories that limit you, the beliefs that contradict your greatness. You must treat your consciousness as sacred territory, because it is. Everything you permit into the inner world becomes an instruction to the outer world. You are not at the mercy of your mind, you are the master of it. But mastery does not come through force. It comes through awareness. When you watch your thoughts as an observer rather than a participant, you begin to realize that most thoughts are simply habits, echoes of the past, shadows of old states. They are not commands unless you accept them. They are not laws unless you believe them. And the moment you stop feeding them with attention, they dissolve like mist. The mind becomes your ally when you stop fighting with it. Instead of resisting negative thoughts, you rise above them. Instead of reacting to fear, you shift your identity. Instead of trying to suppress doubt, you replace it with conviction. You understand that the mind will always offer possibilities, but consciousness chooses which ones become reality. You are not trying to silence the mind. You are training it to serve the vision you hold. To understand the power of consciousness is to understand that feelings are frequencies. Every feeling you embody is a signal sent into the fabric of existence, and reality organizes itself around that signal. When you feel helpless, life presents situations that confirm helplessness. When you feel powerful, life bends in ways that affirm that power. When you feel loved, love appears everywhere. Feeling is the language of creation, and the universe responds to whatever you speak through your emotional state. This is why the greatest transformations happen not when you force outer change, but when you change the way you feel, the way you see yourself, the way you interpret life. A person who sees themselves as blessed will experience blessings. A person who sees themselves as lucky will encounter opportunities. A person who sees themselves as favored will walk through doors others thought impossible. The world is not giving them luck. It is giving them a reflection of their inner assumption. And the most extraordinary part is that you can shift your state at any moment. You can decide right now that you are no longer the person who doubts, who fears, who lacks, who struggles. You can step into the identity of someone who is supported, guided, powerful, and chosen. You can breathe in a new consciousness and let the old self fade like a dream. The world will adjust because it must. Consciousness is the cause, reality is the effect. When you begin to operate from this truth, your relationship with life changes entirely. You stop reacting to circumstances with panic or frustration. Instead, you observe them with calm authority, knowing they are simply reflecting your previous state, not your future one. You understand that what you see now is old news. It is the echo of who you were, not the prophecy of who you are becoming. And because you know this, you no longer allow the present to dictate your future. You allow the future you desire to dictate your present state. This is true freedom. Not the freedom to escape circumstances, but the freedom to create them. The freedom to choose your identity. The freedom to shape your destiny. The freedom to rewrite the script of your life, regardless of your past. the freedom to feel yourself into the life you desire. Your mind wants direction. It wants clarity. It wants a purpose. When you give it a dominant vision, a powerful assumption, a strong identity, the mind begins working with you rather than against you. It becomes creative, intuitive, receptive. It begins offering ideas that align with your new state. It begins noticing opportunities that match your new identity. It begins filtering reality through the lens of your chosen consciousness. What once seemed impossible becomes conceivable, then probable, then inevitable. Do not underestimate the subtle shifts. A gentle change in your inner dialogue can alter the course of your destiny. A quiet moment of imagining yourself in fulfillment can initiate a chain of events that leads you exactly where you wish to be. A simple choice to embody confidence rather than doubt can magnetize experiences that confirm your new state. Consciousness does not require force. It responds to direction. The most profound power you hold is the power to assume a state regardless of circumstances. Anyone can feel wealthy when money is flowing. Anyone can feel loved when affection surrounds them. Anyone can feel confident when everything is going well. But the real mastery is feeling abundant before abundance arrives, feeling loved before love appears, feeling successful before success manifests, feeling peace while storms surround you, feeling certainty when logic offers none. That is the mark of a conscious creator. When you embody the feeling first, the world must follow. It has no other choice. It is not the outer condition that creates the feeling. It is the feeling that creates the outer condition. This is why you must hold unwavering loyalty to your chosen state. Do not check the outer world every moment to see if it has changed. Seeds do not grow faster because you dig them up every hour. They grow because you trust the process. Consciousness works the same way. Trust your inner vision. Trust your assumed identity. Trust the feeling you have chosen. Return to it again and again with calm certainty. The more you inhabit the state, the more natural it becomes. And once a state becomes natural, it must express itself as reality. This is the law of consciousness. There will be moments when the old state tries to pull you back. Memories will resurface. Doubts will whisper. The world will present you with remnants of your former assumptions. This is not failure. It is simply the old self dissolving. Do not engage with it. Do not feed it. Do not believe it. Observe it and return to your chosen identity. The old reality is fading and a new one is forming. You must become more loyal to your vision than to your senses, more loyal to your inner truth than to outer appearances, more loyal to who you choose to be than to who you used to be. This is how transformation happens, not by effort, but by identity. When the inner shift is complete, the outer shift is inevitable. Your consciousness is limitless. It is not confined by circumstances, by history, by probability, by logic, or by fear. It commands reality because it is the source of reality. When you understand this, you stop shrinking yourself to fit the world and begin expanding your world to fit your consciousness. You were never meant to live as a prisoner of old thoughts. You were meant to rise into your divine authority. The authority to choose, to assume, to feel, to imagine, to create. The mind is your instrument, and consciousness is your power. Everything you seek already exists in the unseen, waiting for you to align with it. And when you do, the world rearranges itself with a precision that appears miraculous. You are not becoming powerful. You are remembering that you already are. You are not learning how to create. You are learning how to stop creating unconsciously. You are not asking for the world to favor you. You are assuming the state where it already does. And when you live from that state, reality cannot help but follow. And now, as you leave this moment and step back into the world, remember this single eternal truth. Nothing outside you holds the power to shape your destiny, because the power has always been within your own consciousness. You are not the product of circumstances, you are the cause of them. Life does not move first, you do. Your inner state, your assumptions, your self-concept, your imagination, these are the forces that write the script of your reality. Stop waiting for the world to change before you change your mind. Change your mind, and the world will bend to meet it. Stand firmly in the identity of the one who already has, already is, already embodies everything you once believed was distant. Walk as the creator, not the follower. Claim the state that reflects your deepest desires and refuse to let old memories pull you back into smallness. You are the only thinker in your world and the only authority over your fate. Feel the truth of your power, breathe it in, live from it, trust it, and watch how reality reshapes itself around the consciousness you choose to occupy. The world responds to who you are being. So be the one who knows their power, and life will rise to meet the greatness you finally remember is yours.